Hi guys, how are you doing today? So today we're going to utilize some of the zucchini that the zucchini fairy brought me last week, aka my stepmom, and we're going to make zucchini lasagna roll-ups. First of all, I could have totally done this on my mandolin, but I used it as an excuse to buy a new toy. I got the vegetable sheeter attachment for my KitchenAid, which I've obviously not used yet. It's in the box, so that'll be fun. But to start this off, we need to make sauce because it says to use marinara, jarred marinara. Now, I'm going to make basically what my lasagna sauce is, minus the meat, because the meat is in the ricotta mixture of this. So, that's the side. First thing we're going to do, grab an onion and turn this so it actually shows what I'm doing. Turning my santuku. Okay, in an effort to make this video shorter because it was going to be way too long to go through the whole process, this is just me dicing an onion. Y'all know how to dice an onion, right? Dicing onions is not the end of the world. At some point, I also went, oh shoot, my pan's not on. Maybe I should go do that. I haven't gotten to that point clearly yet. Oh, there we go. And this is just me telling you it's about a tablespoon of vegetable oil because I'm a dumbass and I forgot to buy olive oil at the grocery store. And I will rant about the grocery store more in a minute. But right now, just finishing dicing these up and saying, you know, it doesn't really matter if you cut your horizontals first or your verticals first. As long as you get them diced, that's what's important. Let me throw them in here. Oh, hey, look, a piece fell down next to the edge of the... I didn't take everything out of the fridge. So that's sambal, garlic powder, some sliced mushrooms. And here I go on another rant about how this stupid woman was taking forever in front of the freaking mushrooms. Like, really? Mushrooms? How hard is it to pick out some freaking mushrooms? In fact, I'm not even sure she was looking at them. I think she was just blocking them and going to the thing next to her. But anyways, I finally got past her after like 5 minutes almost of waiting around for her. And then I'm talking about this little tool that I've got here. This one happens to be Pampered Chef, but it's basically a food chopper. Do you remember the dude with way too much energy that did all of the infomercials in the 90s? And he did the slap chop? It's the same basic tool. It really does make things like this super duper easy and quick. So then I'm going to grab the can of olives that you saw for like 5 seconds there and chop that up just like I did the mushrooms because it's my favorite way to dispatch a thing of olives with quickness. I have no clue what Kevin is up to behind me. I believe he washed his hands and then grabbed a beer. And then I'm going to put this behind me so that I can move on, check on the sauteing, and then let's actually go into a little bit more of what I was cooking. Garlic. I just have problems with the garlic getting stuck. Basically, the sugars in the garlic juices kind of dry up and make it stuck. I really, really like garlic. Like really, really like garlic. So I just stuck 2 whole spoons of that in there. And I'm not going to close it yet because I'm going to need it again. I'm just going to open these real quick. I had problems with this not cutting something properly the other day. So I really hope it cuts this one okay. Because I only have 1 can opener. And if it quit working well, I am screwed for getting tomatoes out of here. These are crushed tomatoes, so it could be worse, I suppose, but that sounded like it popped loose. Aha, there we go. That's good. Just setting that to the side. Open the other one. Now, oh, you know what? I said I was done chopping. I forgot there's supposed to be onions in the other mix too. I should have saved some of the onions for that, but oh well. I mean, I suppose I could take some of the onions and mushrooms back out of that pan. Well, The olives will be out of my way by then. Actually, God, that does not sound like it. Oh, it totally did. All right, those are both ready. So one of the things I do all the time, kind of to help with prep, is that while things are cooking on the stove, I open the cans and I put the spices on top of the tomatoes. These are almost ready. So here is my spices. No, I don't measure very well. Parsley, about 2 teaspoons. A teaspoon and a half, maybe. Somewhere around there. Basil, same deal. About a teaspoon and a half-ish. Thyme, usually go a little smaller on the thyme. Like maybe only about a teaspoon of thyme. Making a mess. The oregano's empty. I wonder if I have more oregano. I knew I was out of one of them, and apparently I'm not even smart enough to take the container out, or that was my way of trying to remind myself what I needed. Alright, so there's not going to be oregano in it this time. We'll live. Let's move on to the rosemary. And put about 2 teaspoons of the rosemary in there. Oops. Now, the other thing asked calls for Italian seasoning, which I do actually own. So we're just going to put these back. Grab the Italian seasoning because I forgot to grab it earlier. Italian seasoning is just waiting on the back burner. Now, this chili garlic sauce, also known as sambal. No, I don't measure this either. Depending on how spicy you want it, either leave it out or put 1 to 2, 3 teaspoons in there. Now, don't do that again. Here. Back in the fridge. Now I can just take the 2 of these and dump them in that pan. Both of those in there. Rinse up the cans. Put in my olives over here. And we'll just let that simmer while we're doing everything else. Maybe a little salt and pepper. Pepper, not salt, by the way. I'm not that heavy-handed with my salt, typically. Alright. Do you need these in the bag? So these are coming back over here with us. Alright. Just gonna rinse off these olives so that when it's time to need those again, it can dry it off. You'll notice I held on to one of these because I like to use these cans for my grease that I burn off of beef when I cook it. And I needed a new one. So there we go. Got a new one. I just rinse them out first so they're not all gross. And you gotta rinse your pans before you recycle them anyways. So there we go. Now, on for the fun stuff. The next thing it tells you to do is to deal with your zucchinis. These are some pretty big zucchinis. It tells you that you only need that you need 3 large ones. I'm guessing this is in the extra large variety and probably way bigger than they're expecting me to use. They also say to use a mandolin, which is not how we're going to do this because again, they're huge. And although I do have a mandolin and I do like it, that's not how I want to cut these. I want to make big old sheets. It's defrosted enough. It'll be fine. Okay. So, set my book on my apples over here. And we're going to see how this works. Like I said, this is my new toy. I don't have this one open yet. Okay, so I have to stop you right here. This did not work as planned. Basically, it would have worked on a smaller zucchini, but on the ones I had, it just mushed the center. We skipped this. We went back to the mandolin. I did test out a potato, which worked phenomenally, and I'm only telling you that because it's going to come back up later on in this video. All right? I did everything. Ha! There we go. Trusty mandolin. Because now this is how it's going. Now I'm really sad that I made it this short. These would be ridiculous little. He's going to get graded later. Because I feel like that would be a ridiculously small piece of zucchini for this. I'm really a little worried about trying to use a mandolin for one that's huge too. But here goes nothing. I also feel like the first one's a good throwaway because it's nothing but skin. I think those will be okay. No, it's nothing but skin. We'll just toss that one. Now would be a great time to have a bunny here. Oh, hey, there's a bunny that visits our yard. An animal that likes stuff like that. Let's see, after so far, though, I end up getting into that really pithy, gross peel, or not peel, the seed part. That doesn't seem very well good either. This is definitely a challenge. I really don't think this is working very well either, oddly. Why? Oh, probably because there's one that's curled up underneath there. Giving me grief. See, that doesn't work too bad. Those are pretty decent. That one's a little wonky. Maybe I can somehow get that one shredded to a version that can be breaded. Okay, I'm going to leave that to the side for now. I do like these pieces. I think these ones are good. They might even still be a tad on the thick side, but as long as they roll, we'll be fine. So I'm going to set these up here. Do the salt thing that they tell you about. That's probably going to take a couple of layers just because I have so much. Depending on how I lay it on here. Oh, my goodness, that was two. I was thinking that was an awfully thick one for a minute there. Oh. Just worried about that getting too hot. The salt is supposed to drag out or help get the water out of the zucchini so that you don't end up with a big mushy mess when you go to make your little roll-ups, because it can happen if you don't get some of the water out. I know this seems counterintuitive, putting it on top of each other, but it's the only way this is going to happen in my kitchen. So this is how it's going to happen in my kitchen. I think I should have a couple right here, but they probably don't have any room. There we go. Kind of salt that layer. I just realized that even though there is a good amount of salt you have to put on these to draw out the moisture, it still tells you later to put salt in the mix that goes on these. Which I know you got to make it. It's good most of the time to salt every layer of what you're doing, but I worry about it getting maybe too salty because of how salty this is going to be. Those pieces are super long compared to. So we're going to have to stick a couple more right on top once we're done with this layer. Salt two of those. Okay. Liberally salted. Can't imagine how it can possibly be done. Now, I'm turn on my pan. Oh, I already did. Put the oil in my pan. What should I say, about a tablespoon? Oh, I never measure. I'm really bad about that. I should do that more often. It says to use a half cup of onion. I almost wonder if I should skip this step, except now I just got into the onion, so I guess I'm cutting it. Well, we're also doubling it, which means we really need a cup of onion, which means we really need another onion anyway, so. Especially since this one's a little smaller than the one we used earlier on our sauce. I found this recipe on Pinterest. It is the first time I'm trying it. I wrote it down in my little book over here because I can't be filming on my phone and reading off of Pinterest at the same time. I mean, I guess if I really wanted to get my tablet out, I could, but I didn't feel like getting my tablet out, so yeah. Besides, if this one's good, I want to add it to the recipe book anyways. Make notes, like, double that bad boy, because there's no way I don't want to have leftovers. I almost always want to have leftovers because it makes really good lunch. If any of you guys have done Pampered Chef more recently, you're thinking, that cannot be a Pampered Chef knife. That's not what the handles look like. This is what the handles look like 15 years ago. Some of my stuff from them is super old because I've been doing it for so long. I mean, I don't sell it, but I've had parties for it for so long. Some of mine is way outdated. Like that wooden spoon that I'm cooking with is Pampered Chef. This knife is. This cast iron I'm about to throw these all into is. Now it tells me I should put in 2 cloves of garlic. That's not too close. That's a very big heaping spoon because I like garlic. Nobody can tell me that I can't use ton. Actually, better grab one of these. 2 pounds of beef. The recipe says turkey. The recipe is the whole. This is light and fit and keto, and I like my beef. Thank you very much. If I had realized I was going to need 2 pounds for this, I would have just packaged it that way when I stuck it in, put it away and divided the big old thing in. I always buy the big chub, or big family size, and divide it up into 1 or 2 pound. And then this is going to need 2 pounds, I'm going to just package it that way, but that's okay. This out before I before I put the meat in there. Because I want to use this tool right here to mix up my beef. And yes, it's another Pampered Chef tool because I have a ridiculous amount of it. I swear if I ever wanted to sell a Pampered Chef, having videos like this practically would sell the products themselves because I have so much of their stuff. And not everything I have is theirs. And some of their stuff, honestly, I don't want to get. Like, I don't want to get the deep fryer or the fast cooker because I want to get either the Instapot with the air fryer lid or the Ninja Foodie that can do both. Because I have limited space, and if I'm going to replace my deep fryer with something, it's going to be with something that can do double duty. Because when you have a small kitchen, you have to get things that do double duty. All right. Now, should be done with that knife. Set it over there. Gonna need one of these anyways. But we should be done with this as well, unless we need more zucchini. Did not think to get out a bowl earlier. I just realized that my measuring spoons are inside of there. You know, I just washed this counter. We sprayed for ants. Then I washed the counter, and now they're back. Really hate ants. I feel like I should use a bigger pan for this. This is the smaller cast iron, not the bigger one. Alright, so in this bowl, oh, I did not get the rest of the cheeses. I am really scatterbrained tonight. Sorry, guys. Sorry I have a brain sometimes. Sometimes. Not always, obviously. Okay, come on. I'm really starting to think I'm going to need more of this. This does not want to come off here. And that sounds like it is aggressively simmering over there. Bite me. Alright. The original recipe says 1 cup of this, so we need 2. I have to deal with that aggressively simmering. Simmering its own juices right now, so I need to drain some of that off. New cup. Come on. Wow, it doesn't work very well. It kind of worked for the first cup, but it's not going to work for the second. It's okay. Actually, it kind of did. How close is that to a cup? It's close enough. Alright, 2 cups to recover. And I'll find some use for the rest of it later. Also going to retrieve the Parmesan and mozzarella blend in here because we need this in here as well. That'll be done very, very soon. Okay, so we're supposed to have half a cup of grated Parmesan, which is in here, 6 ounces. So this is 3/4 of a cup, and we're doubling, and it's supposed to have half a cup, so it's doubling it. We're actually a little shy on the Parmesan, but that's okay. It'll be fine. And 1 cup of this. That's 8 ounces. And that's only a cup. Oh, it seems like that's 2 cups. Ounce-wise, that says it's only a cup. We're going to just stop with that. Anyway, I do have more mozzarella, which is really good because I need more of it later. I'm not any more like this thing. Okay. I feel like our meat is done. Turned off. Grease. toasty. I feel like if you went by volume, that is 2 cups of that and not only a cup, but it seems like a lot. All right, we put our 2 eggs in here. There's the ant. There's my stupid bowl. 2 eggs. And it says 2 teaspoons Italian seasoning. So we really want more like 4. So we really kind of just want like a small handful because we're doubling it. We're not measuring anything. And then it says half a teaspoon, nope, quarter teaspoon pepper. But I'm only going to go for about 1 because I already felt that that was not enough pepper. And half a teaspoon salt, so I go about 1 on that as well. It's too hot in this kitchen. All right, we're gonna mix this all together. I really hope I have enough zucchini pieces. I think I do. So it tells you to mix this all really well. Salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, the egg, Parmesan, ricotta, mozzarella, all mixed together into this lovely cheesy goo. And then you add the meat. I feel like I'm going to have extra. That's okay, have another zucchini. Make more later. Alright. Alright. I'm trying to get as good of a grip on this side as I can. Knock this all in here. It doesn't say anything about cooling this down. It just says to add it, so I hope that it shouldn't have been cooled down first. It would have been nice to put in the instructions. Alright. So, I'm going to get this all stirred up. Mixed really well. It smells really fantastic right now with all of that garlic and oniony goodness. Again, I way overdid the recipe on the garlic, because that's how we roll in this family. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I don't get sick easy. I eat a shit ton of garlic. And garlic, it does help boost your immune system. Could never be a vampire. Darn. Way too much garlic in my diet. Alright, so there is our fantastic mixture. Now, I'm gonna grab paper towels. Which are hanging over here. So, the first thing it says, so now that we're on the assembly stage, the first thing it says to do, other than pat these dry a little bit, is to put a cup of sauce in that pan. Well, we all know that I doubled everything, so that means we need at least 2 cups of sauce in that pan. Right now. Spread that around a little. Leave the measuring cup in there because we're going to need it again. Oh, that sauce looks so good and it smells good. Now, this is a very close to what I would make for my lasagna sauce, minus the meat. Oh, sorry. Alright, so that's ready to go. Ready for the next step. So the next thing is, let's do this way. I don't feel like trying to find yet another place to put things. We're going to do it right here. But we're going to be smart about it. And I'm going to be smart. I have this little scoop here. I think it's a quarter cup. I don't know. I forget. We're going to take 1 scoop onto 1 piece of zucchini. And then we're going to kind of spread it out a tiny bit down the top part of this noodle here. Then you roll it up just like that. Hope not to lose too much in your wake. Then you set it just like that. Now we've got to do that a whole bunch more times. Okay, so while we put this on super speed, because it took me way too long to do this part, I'll just let you know what happened. So it took me over 20 minutes to do this section. So whoever said there's 20 minutes of prep time lied. Big time lied. See Kevin messing with the stove there? That would be when I realized that I had forgotten to start it up and, preheat it like I was supposed to. This took a long time. It really did. And at some point, very soon, I'm going to run out of zucchini. I thought about grabbing the mandolin and making a couple more, but then I thought, no, because then I have to salt them and wait for them. And honestly, it was getting late. I wanted dinner. So, in the part that I cut out earlier of me playing with my new vegetable sheeter, I actually tested it on a potato because it failed. And here's me using those pieces of potato because I had completely run out of zucchini, still had filling, still had room in the pan, needed something to go there, didn't want to start all over again. Okay, as you probably noticed, at some point I completely ran out of zucchini. And I was almost done, and I was almost out of filling, not quite. And I didn't really feel like going back to the mandolin. So I cheated and decided, hey, let's see what happens if we put some potatoes down at the end. Now, granted, I know potatoes cook at a different rate, so they're getting a ton of sauce on top of them to help cook them and soften them up better. You are supposed to put sauce back on top, so that is what we're doing here. It says to put 1 cup. Again, we're doubling everything, so we're putting 2 cups up here. Along with those potatoes. And if you noticed when Kevin came in and was messing with the stove all of a sudden, yeah, that was the time that I realized I had not preheated my oven to 400 as I was supposed to. So he turned it on for me real quick. Didn't quite work. Why do I feel like there's something? Oh, God. Well, it was not exciting. So I forgot that when we got Papa John's about a week or so ago, that I put the brownies in the oven to keep them away from the ants, which seems to have worked, and now they're very, very toasty from the 400-degree oven. Because I forgot they were in there. All of a sudden I could smell something like something was burning, paper was burning, and I thought it was really odd. And I realized it was coming from my oven. Did I mention earlier, I swear I do have a brain sometimes. Clearly not today, because wow, that was a major mess up. I also noticed that despite the drying off of the zucchini in between there, I'm still getting quite a bit of liquid in here, which concerns me a little bit, because that's the whole point of salting and then drying them off, is so that you don't end up with that residual later. So I'm a little concerned about that. I have a little bit of the mixture left in here because I didn't quite make it all fit, and honestly, it's pretty good. And don't freak out, remember the meat's cooked. Yes, I realized there was an egg in there. Also just realized that this guy did not get any sauce on top of him. As I spilled sauce down the front, why not? Alright, let me grab the rest of my mozzarella here. If I can get into it. Apparently this one does not want to zip as it should. There we go. And then this just gets sprinkled liberally across the top. I don't know why I'm trying to pour it straight out of the bag. I should know the way I'm going today. That is probably not the smartest of ideas. I should probably use my hands to make sure it spreads out nicely. Alright, it's been 25 minutes. Let's see how it looks. It It looks like it's about ready to spill all over my floor. That's what it looks like. It looks pretty good though, other than that liquid. I wonder how exactly you're supposed to combat that, because that was the whole point of doing the sauce first. You see, maybe you don't. Here, let me take this off of its stand for a minute. Turn that around. Do you see all this liquid over here on the edges? That's not supposed to be like that. That was the whole point of having the whole salt to draw the water out thing going on. I think that's going to be better, because I can really get it under here. I am making such a mess. That liquid is just pouring everywhere. It said that 4 of these is a serving. So, there we go. 1 serving. Now, it actually does look pretty good. I feel like maybe it could have gone that last 5 minutes, but we'll see. I'm really curious about the potato chunks down here, honestly. So let me grab those out of there. Maybe I'll hijack one of these ones from here and give us each 1 piece of potato, which is hiding down here somewhere. That potato is 100% not done. You know what? I wanted to try it, but nope. It is absolutely, definitely not completed. So we're going to go back in for 1 more zucchini roll each then. They do look really good. They're just really soupy. Like, you can see the liquid in the corner of this dish, like super bad. So I really don't know what I would do differently, how exactly to solve that issue, since it was supposed to be solved by what we did. I did see a different recipe. Oh, these are toasty. I was going to grab forks out of here, but they're very warm. Oh, I grabbed a fork and a spoon. I don't think those are going to be edible with a spoon. But let's see how they taste. So I got a little bit of that. Oh, and you know what? I just thought of, we still have more sauce. There's no reason to be lacking on sauce because of the liquid issue. We'll just put some more on top. Just like that. At least it solves that problem. All right, back to my, let's see how this tastes. It's really tasty. I did see a couple of other recipe versions where they baked the zucchini pieces first, which kind of on a rack. Maybe that would work better. I don't know. But it seems like having to do that would take a lot longer, because you'd have to do each piece. I mean, you'd have to bake them all and then drain off whatever liquid, and then bake more of them. You'd have to cool them off somehow in between to be able to touch them. I'm really not sure how that would work. So, I don't know. Maybe I didn't dry them off long enough. Maybe they should have sat longer in the salt. Maybe I really should have put, like, paper towels in between the layers, because I did have them sitting on top of each other. I don't know. But it still tastes good. So I guess that's all that really matters. Bye, guys.